It has been really a rough semester. That's how it is when you get to college, but I want to make a video on tips on that because really I feel like a lot of people don't realize these things, so I want to help you out. A lot of people think that doing AP classes is the best way you can be prepared for college in your high school classes, and don't get me wrong, those are good. They can help, but really, if your school has a dual enrollment program where you can be in high school and college at the same time, that is really better. That's the best option. With dual enrollment, you are getting your credits for high school in order to graduate while also completing your credits for your degree for college. That is what I did. I did that. Basically, with your college degree, that's what really matters. And I know high school matters too, because that depends, based on your GPA, your SAT, ACT scores, that can really get you into a really good college. But sometimes you can work your butt off and still go to a different college. And I don't think people realize that. I know apparently there's some stigmatism that going to a 2-year college or a state college it's not necessarily taboo, but it's frowned upon because it looks like you're not the best in what you do. But really, that really helps because you get some diversity with your college degree compared to other students who went all 4 years at the same university. On top of that, with it going to a state college or a 2-year college, you're saving money because you're learning the same thing in order to get your associates, because you have to get your associate's degree before you get your bachelor's degree. And with your associates, basically it's the same course track whether you take it at a university or a 2-year college. So let me tell you what I did. I did dual enrollment, and I did it at Santa Fe College. It's the state college. It was a public college. I grew up going to Santa Fe College, technically, because my aunt used to work there, and I lived with my aunt. And basically, I would go there and go on the field trips because they had Upward Bound or Trio, whatever it was, and I would get to go on field trips, and it was really cool. And then basically I was inspired, so I went to Santa Fe College because I did dual enrollment. I know I did it. One of the reasons why I did it is because I was tired of my high school. If you deal with bullies, that's going to make you feel that way. If you're tired of what's going on, then yeah, you're going to do that. And I had no idea there's a lot of expectations versus reality when going to high school and transitioning from high school to college. There was a lot of stuff that I think about. And from elementary to high school, it's really about what you're actually supposed to do. It's really not about you being super, super smart when you get to college. It's about, can you learn from the material? Can you study it and retain it and then take the test? And I feel that college is good for that, but with high school and middle school and elementary, schools stress you out because what they do is they make you do the things that you would do in college where you study, you retain, and even if granted, you can get away with it if you're good at studying at the last minute and doing stuff, but they really don't teach you that you really need to learn how to study. So by the time you get to college, you're stressed out because of what you thought you knew on how to study and stuff. It's not going to help you anymore, because with college, it's not about can you study at the quick minute. You're going to have more responsibility because that's just life. Whether you have an extra job or you have more classes, some of these colleges, the classes, some of them want you to finish a 5-page paper and through a semester or 2 weeks, but then Another class wants you to do that. And then you have a test that you really need to pass because the a professor doesn't give any other grades, so then you fall behind. And if you don't learn that in high school, elementary, middle school, or junior high, because some people go to junior high, you miss out. And so college is really about you retaining information. It's not about you being the smartest cookie. And I always used to think that, and now I'm more mature, and it's like, no. So when I did dual enrollment, when I started, I was going to do it my junior year, but my auntie was like, no. And little did I realize then, she just wanted me to ask her again. I guess she just wanted to make sure that I really wanted to do it. And I did. But I didn't push, and I should have. And granted, I did my senior year, and I'm so glad I did it, because you also save money. Because dual enrollment is paid for the state. As long as you can pass those classes, as long as you can get accepted, you're paid for. And so, for example, if you want to do dual enrollment, so basically this is my story. I started my senior year of high school, so where everybody else at my high school did cool things, I guess, with grad bash. I went to grad bash, but what I didn't do is whatever people do in senior year of high school. So what I did, I basically got a new start. I was opened up to a new world. I still had some high school classes. That's just because depending on your level and how well you do on the entrance test, that matters. And math is my weakness on that, so I'm working on that. But basically with my classes, primarily I was a college student, and I would go to, I had two classes that were not college level. So I had high school economics and I had high school math. And then I would take it with other dual enrollment students, and so I had some background to where it was like, I'm not alone, I'm not the only minor or whatever taking classes and blah blah blah. But it was so totally different when you're taking classes with college students. So I was filled in a class with college students. Some of them were like a year, 2 years or more with me. And looking back at it now, I just think it's funny, because I know some of them probably thought, she's a literal child. Like, I didn't think it was obvious I was a child, but if I were to go back and rewind, like, if my life was recorded, rewind, I would consider myself a child too, especially at that time, like I was. Besides that fact, you could just tell that I was just like fresh meat. But basically, it's different. College is a real culture shock, because you could be in a class with like people from ages 17 or younger, like even 16, all the way to where some of these students are 27 or older. And granted, I think it's cool. I thought it was cool at the time, because it was like, wow, everybody's coming from different backgrounds, though some people don't share, because apparently it's just an insecurities that some people have, that I'm in college with people who are way younger than me, and I should have done what in my lifetime earlier, where I should have done that, but I chose a different path or something like that. And I just think, to me, I thought it was great, because we'd have a different background. It had diversity, foreign students, non-foreign students. And then I will admit, I'm glad I did dual enrollment, and I'm glad that my senior year I did it, because not only did I save money, it gave me room for maturity. And I'm still maturing, and lots of college students are, because nobody's really perfect. There's some college students who, no matter their age, they're always going to be the immatureness. They're going to have the immaturity they have, or vice versa. But in college, it was pretty cool. I got to learn, you don't have to, like, there was some embarrassing time. Like, in my writing class, it took me from my fall class of dual enrollment to my spring class of dual enrollment to realize in college, you do not have to raise your hand in order to ask, can I be excused to use the restroom? And I felt so bad asking to go to the restroom because it's like, can I go or can I not? And you can leave early. It's best to stay in class, especially with dual enrollment. You're still required to stay in class and not skip classes. Like you can basically semi get away with in college as a full-time college student instead of just a dual enrollment student. But basically it just felt weird. So there was a culture shock, and to realize like, yeah, you can do this. If a class lets you out early, you can get out. And granted, at that time I didn't have a car, so if my class got out early, I would just go to the library, wait till my auntie picked me up or stuff, and I would get ready for work because I had work on the weekends and other things. And then also it was just really fun getting up, being able to study and not have to stress about, oh, I'm late to the bell rings, blah 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 blah. You don't have to worry about that. And also I was surprised, like there were a lot of mature people at college, so you would have people going good morning and stuff like that, and you would just say good morning back because that's polite, and go on about your day and business. And it was pretty cool. Though I really wish I hadn't stressed myself out my first 2 years of college, because I didn't even realize, like my first year, I was sad because I really thought, oh, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna make new friends and stuff. You can go to college and make no friends at all. And I know most people wouldn't admit this, but I basically had no friends in college. I would have people I would talk to in the same class that they were there, be like, hey, how are you? And then we would talk, and then you go about your day. But that's because everybody has a different life schedule. Everybody has a different class schedule. There will be some people who will be better at making friends. But that was also in the time where I was just like, I'm not really interested in having friends. Like I thought I was, but I realized you don't want everybody as your friend. And it's not based on I think I'm better than you. That it's just that some people aren't good for you, and you just have to mature and learn that. And not everybody you call a friend is your friend, unfortunately. But basically that happened. And then basically with dual enrollment, I was glad I did it. By the time the spring semester ended, I was out of high school because I graduated. I got all my credits. I went to grad bash, and it was really interesting because I heard some people thought like I dropped out or something, and they were really surprised to see me at grad bash or graduation and be like, oh, look, it's Jan. And then I was glad I left that high school. Glad I didn't have to go back to that high school ever again. I'm glad I did dual enrollment, so it was a de-stressor for me in that way. I was glad to see my friends during grad bash and Santa Fe College, so that I would be like, oh yeah. And then some of my friends did go to Santa Fe College after that, and some of them, by that time I was a year ahead of them, and then I was finishing up my credits. By that time I'd gotten into the college flow. You go to class, do your work, you get time to do it, don't freak out. I wish I had learned don't freak out about it, just try and do it. And then make sure you do it on time. Don't do it at the last minute, because eventually that's going to trouble you in in college and with everything. And there's going to be some times where you want to freak out, but it's okay. Here's another thing. So with college etiquette, you cannot get away with the things you do in high school. And I know lots of students get that. We're in elementary school, when you're about to go to middle school or junior high, they're like, oh, when you get there, you cannot do the things that you do here. They will not be lenient on you. They will be strict. And the same thing when you get to high school and stuff. But it turns out that's actually not true. Like in high school, by that time, I had like some teachers that were really like lenient. They were more lenient than an elementary school teacher was, almost. As long as you did your work and you paid attention. When they wanted you to be quiet, you shut up, and they were cool with you. And then when you could talk to your friends. And then in high school, and college, that's another thing. Granted, college will treat you like an adult. So no matter the age you are, whether you're 16 or not, if you're in college, you're expected to come to class. They're not going to hound you about it. If you have to go to the bathroom, go. Just do it quietly. Walk out. Don't walk in front of the teacher, because that's considered rude, of course. And just walk on the other side. And basically, I wish I had learned, don't interrupt the teacher while they're teaching. Just let them teach. You can ask questions later or raise your hand when, if so. You don't have to interrupt the teacher to do that. And you can always talk to them after class or email them. Don't be afraid to do that. And I wish I had learned that, because I was basically that kid that was the snobby, not snobby, I would say. Some people thought I was snobby, but it was just that I was introverted, and I still am. But the kid, teacher, what some people stereotype to be the goody two-shoes, or the teacher's pet, even though I never considered myself a teacher's pet and stuff. I just wanted to get good grades in class so I didn't get my butt beat. But basically, stuff like that happens. And with college classes, just if there's a session where you can ask questions, by all means, ask the professor questions. But you don't have to interrupt them while they're talking to raise your hand and do that. They'll answer you, but some teachers will get fed up after a while, and I didn't realize that and understand that until I had some more time to mature. So I always make sure some teachers are okay, some professors are okay with you doing that, but some professors are not. And I've had both kinds of professors. So sometimes it's best to ask them once just trust your instincts. If you know it's the right time to ask a question, ask. Be polite about it. Remember that everybody else is wanting to learn too. So if you already asked a question, let somebody else ask a question. And then if you still have that question because somebody else didn't ask that question, then ask. Or you can also email the professor, or you can ask them after class. A lot of professors are really pretty cool on that. And they're really, as long as you're kind to them, they're kind to you. Some professors, I will admit, some of them they're basically just chilled. Like, I had a professor my dual enrollment year during the spring. He would cuss, and I wasn't used to that. Actually, no, that's a lie. I had some high school teachers that would do that, but at that time it's come on, guys, you're middle school kids, elementary school kids already cursed. But basically, they were just more, they could get away with it, so they would cuss. For the professors, but they were just human beings. Some of them would have tattoos, and I thought it was cool. I mean, professors in middle school had tattoos that I had. I had two teachers that had tattoos, and I have one that was obsessed with Batman, and he literally had a Batman tattoo. It's pretty cool. And then my other middle school teacher, she had a tattoo of a cat, and it was really cool. But basically, they had to cover it up basically because of middle school rules and stuff. But anyways, one had it on his shoulder, he had it on his shoulder, and sometimes you can see it through his shirt if he's wearing a muscle shirt or whatever. But not through his shirt, but on the side, cutting off. But basically, high school is I feel like it's just a starter for college. And then I know a lot of people say that college, you don't have to go to college anymore to be successful. You don't have to go to college to become rich or get a good job. And partially that's true. I'm realizing that during my senior year of college. And let me tell you, college is for you to learn skills on how to be professional, for going into the professional world. College is also to tone your skills on how to network and meet with people who are in your similar field so that you can build connections. Granted, you don't have to go to college to get connections. You don't have to go to college to study film. I'm a film major. You don't have to go to college to run a business and some people are successful without that. But guess what? That's a 1 in a million chance. And granted, if you come from good money, lots of rich kids go to college. But what I'm saying is, if you come from good money and your parents like you like that enough to give you money, or if they spoil, I don't know if it's necessarily being spoiled, but basically, if your parents give you money, then you don't have to go to if they give you money to where you can run your own business, you can live off that, yeah, you can get away with it and not go to college, or if you have a backup. But at the same time, a lot of people don't talk about that. Sometimes people who don't go to college, they still have assets that help them, so they don't have to worry about that. And what people don't talk about is that rich people still go to college. Like, even at Santa Fe College, there were a bunch of students driving in New Year Audis, Cadillacs, Mercedes, you name it. Even not Teslas, because Teslas weren't really popular until I got to university. But basically, there was people driving in Maseratis. Like, I saw one who lived at my apartment complex. She had a Maserati. And then by the time, even now in university, there's people who drive in new cars, especially Teslas. And a Tesla is, the last time I checked, $75,000. So really, and a lot of people don't realize this either. Sometimes people can get away with just getting an associate's, but it's better if you get a bachelor's in order to get a better job than just with an associate's. I thought with my job with an associate's, I would get a much, much better job than I'm working now. The reason why I had this job now is because I am a university student, so I got a better chance at getting this job. However, there's some jobs that won't take you if you have an associate's, because it's really better to have a bachelor's, and even now it's better to have a master's or a doctorate than a bachelor's. That's always been the case, but that's what that's what jobs are looking for now. As for film jobs, I am interested in those, but you don't have to have a degree with a film job, really. But it's really big on, do you know the skills? Do you learn the skills? And that's why, you have to go to college to do that. Or you have to go to a film school to do that. Or acting classes or things like that. And then you have to build connections. Connections are really big in the film industry, acting industry, you name it. In the entertainment industry, you have to have connections. And I'm still learning on that, because I've become one of those people who are just really introverted, where I don't want to talk to people. And when I get an opportunity, I'll do my work. I'll do what I have to. But I'm just I shy away from meeting new people. And that's my problem now that I have to work on. But that's just me. But basically, in university, things are different from a 2-year college. Sometimes they are. The associate's degree, cool. You got that. It's the same thing you would have learned at university. Whereas university, things are tougher there. I am not gonna lie. University can be tough. And I used to think, no, it's gonna be easier. Some of those classes are longer, and it's not just because the classes are longer. It's also because of the workload. You have so much of a workload put in there because you're taking more advanced classes. You're at the point where you're doing a bachelor's degree, and there's more responsibility because you're considered more advanced. So you have to do what you have to do. And university is pretty cool. I'm at my university now, it's a bigger college, but I don't think a lot of people realize, I think it's funny, because I see a lot of people on TikTok who were like me, the gifted kid. They used to read a lot while other kids were talking sometimes. Depending on, with my friends, I would talk a lot, but if I wasn't around my friends, I would just sit there and read in class in middle school and high school. But in elementary, especially elementary. But basically, by that time, when you're in college and university, like, I hardly read anymore, and I really don't understand how I was able to read a 500-page book in middle school. Like, I'm proud of myself I did that. That's really cool. But now it would take me a whole entire year and a half, basically, because of the time. By the time you're done with your classes, you're tired, you're worn out, so you rather watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever. And basically, I'm trying to get back into reading, but basically, with college to university I like better because it's a bigger campus, so you get to meet other people. Like, I met lots of people from Africa, and you learn some things. Like, you learn that America, like United States and other countries, we always like to depict Africa as a poor, starving country, that everybody there is poor and starving, which is total BS, because not every country is like that, and Africa is a continent, and I learned that like a long time ago. But in elementary school, schools like to make it out that Africa is a country, that it's not a continent, which is really ludicrous, because it's a continent. It's super big. Like, you can fit over 37, I think, United States in Africa. It's really that big, and then have some more room left over. But basically, I got to work with some students in Africa when I was working a university job. There's like super rich. I wasn't jealous, but I just thought that was cool. Like, they had BMWs and stuff, and you learn all these things. It's like, guys, I can't believe America makes us think Africa is poor and stuff like that for all of them. And then, like, there's different parts of Africa. Like, there's some people from North Africa, there's some people from South Africa, and like the shades, the diversity is just there. It's beautiful. But basically, you just meet different kinds of people. There's people from Russia, Ukraine, there's people, university students, including with college, but university students primarily is diverse. Like, I've met some Japanese students, stuff, who came from Japan, stuff like that, and I just really think it's cool. And you also learn from different backgrounds. Like, my family's not rich either, blah 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 this, blah 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 that, and you learn, and diversity makes you grow and makes you stronger. In the university, you get to meet with the community. So college is really just about getting your what you need on your degree, and then when you get to university, it's more so meeting other people, building connections, no matter your degree, no matter your major. And then you're also building a background, portfolio, and getting the rest of your degree, or whatever degree track that you're about to finish, you want to get it done. And so it's really cool. And so I am hoping that I can finish my semester, pass my summer semesters, because I'm taking summer A, B, and C, so I'm gonna have to be tough, including with my job. And then I also have my fall semester, and I just really need to kick butt the rest of this year, because I'm trying to graduate by fall of 2022. I'm supposed to graduate in spring, but because things happened during the pandemic, I got depressed, I lost motivation, and that's how some of the classes I'm taking that I need to take in the summer and fall, I had to retake because of that situation. But granted, like, I'm taking them again in the summer, really, but in the fall, one of them I wasn't allowed to take until I finished and passed those classes, so I'm not retaking any classes in the fall. But basically, I'm almost done, and then I still plan to get my master's. I'm really thinking about getting my doctorates, but I really want a master's in film, so I'm going to continue. And yeah, this is basically it about this video. I just thought I would give some advice on college, university, for anybody wanting to go there. Yeah, so I just wanted to give some advice on college and university from my own take, from someone who did dual enrollment, went to a 2-year college, and transferred, that's like dog hair, oh my god, transferred to university. And please like, subscribe, and comment below. See you in the next video, and have a good day.